Shabbat Shalom. It is said that there are 36 tzaddikim, or righteous people, whose actions hold up the world. We don't know who they are. They don't know who they are. In fact, they don't even know which action is the one that makes the difference. If they did, they would no longer qualify as one of the 36. Furthermore, the notion of the 36 isn't fixed. One can be a tzaddik for one moment, and then someone else takes on the role. A tzaddik is not a tzaddik for their entire life, nor is a tzaddik in every moment. So maybe we need to think of the 36 as 36 moments of righteousness given at any time in the world. It might even be that in certain moments, we are those tzaddikim. Our own contributions, small as they might seem, might be the ones that make the difference. Think of what it might mean to make eye contact and to say a meaningful thank you to the clerk at the grocery store, or to give up your subway seat for someone else, or stop and talk to an elderly person sitting outside watching people walk by, or share your meal with the homeless. Small actions can affect things in ways that we may not even be conscious of and have the potential to make a difference. Admittedly, sometimes we get blocked from being present to those around us. We tend to get bogged down in worries. In the past, we might have fretted about how we'd get dinner on the table on a weeknight. But now, for many of us, we also feel deep anxiety about the direction of our country and the darkness we see in the world around us. Regardless of the subject of our concern, our worries take up our focus. And as valid and pressing as they are, they keep us from connecting in the present. Several years ago, my mom was experiencing a difficult time when my father was quite ill towards the end of his life. She was taking care of him, and I was worried about both of them. One day, my mom and I were walking Trixie, our yellow lab, around the neighborhood. As a person who tends to talk through things and process things, I asked my mom with all my intensity, "How are you doing?" But she did not go into detail about how she was doing. Instead, she simply said, "Hanging in," and began to remark about the first buds on the trees. She stopped to say hello to neighbors. She pointed out things that I would never bother to notice, like the way the dogs who lived 2 houses down would fly towards the fence whenever Trixie would walk by. My mother didn't give me the direct answer I thought I was looking for, but she certainly answered my question, and in so doing, she taught me a life lesson. We could spend every waking minute consumed with worry and live in a state of distraction, but in so doing, we would miss out on the potential wholeness we can feel by being present in the moment at hand. It's not to invalidate the realities of the things that cause us anxiety or of true dangers in the world, rather to remember that we can find sources of strength within ourselves. In moments when we are not in direct distress, it can sometimes be enough just to breathe, pay attention to those around us, notice our surroundings. There is healing in being fully present. The practice of mindfulness has ancient roots. In Genesis, while Rebekah was standing by a well, she noticed a thirsty-looking stranger approach with his 10 thirsty camels. Because she was attuned to her surroundings, Rebekah was able to perceive the need and in turn respond with kindness. You might say, this is not so impressive. I mean, how could she miss 10 camels? You don't have to be so present in the moment to miss 10 thirsty camels. To this I say, if you're on your smartphone, you might miss it. I mean, how many times in this city does something happen around us that we simply ignore? Rebecca was present, and being truly present leads to acts of kindness. When we acknowledge the need, we can act. The rabbis teach that a kind of miracle happened in that moment to support Rebecca's instinct to respond. You can imagine how difficult it would have been for her to draw enough water to quench the thirst of 10 camels. The school of Rashi posited that the water rose up magically from the well to fill her jug again and again, so she could quickly and easily provide for the servant and his camels. A similar story is told about the episode in which the Pharaoh's daughter, Batya, draws the boat with baby Moses out of the Nile. Noticing the baby floating in a small ark on the river, Batya reached her arm out, and midrashic sources posit that her arm grew so long she was able to reach out towards the river to quickly rescue the baby floating by. Now, these stories might seem fanciful at the outset, but when you think about it, these kinds of miracles happen all the time. Every time a small act of kindness leads others to participate in that kindness and multiplies the deed, we are witnesses to a kind of miracle. We see how positivity spreads and grows exponentially. And it all begins with one person being fully present in a moment and responding. No one knows what small act will truly bring light into this world, but every small act of kindness has the potential to do just that. A friend of mine told me a story about standing in line at a grocery store right before the holidays, like now, and the store was packed. And people were pushing ahead of him and cutting in line. But instead of feeling frustrated and demanding that he go first, he said, "I let them go ahead of me because I'm free to do so. I'm not in a hurry, and my ability to wait is a demonstration of my personal freedom." When we are free, we can tap into our deeper humanity and do the right thing. Rebecca had the freedom to provide for the camels. Pharaoh's daughter Batya had the freedom to rescue baby Moses. And we have the freedom to tap into our reserves of kindness in ordinary and extraordinary ways. Perhaps each of the 36 is tapping into a place of personal freedom, freedom to act with kindness and with dignity at any given moment. The kernel of inner light within each of us always remains lit, like a pilot light. It never goes out. This is the opportunity of Hanukkah. We remember how a tiny bit of oil, meant for just one day, transcended its original purpose. This is a metaphor for our own small acts that can go very far. The legend of the 36 is directly connected to the lighting of the menorah. Each night, we add another candle, and if we do the math and we don't count the shamas, by the eighth night, how many candles will we have lit? If we don't count the shamas, 36. As we reflect on the small light that each candle brings, adding one each night, we reflect on the potential of the small acts and freedoms that can make all the difference. Shabbat Shalom.